he can be the sun.
It was the most memorable and emotional moment during the president's address to Congress on Tuesday night, his moving tribute to fallen Navy SEAL Ryan Owens and widow Corinne. It was a moment that transcended politics, but not everyone saw it that way.
So many of my family members are in the military. I thought that was so exploitive. I thought he exploited that widow.
I wish she hadn't allowed herself to be used as his prop like that.
Yeah.
And I don't see any great courage here. Where's the courage? Who wouldn't stand and applaud for a war widow?
What's he thinking about? My ratings.
And how many?
Record applause. What is it? I'm going to get an Emmy for this. Most applause for a dead soldier on my watch. I mean, this is the sickness of this man.
There was also this tweet from a man who says he volunteered for Hillary Clinton's campaign, referring to Chief Petty Officer Ryan's grieving widow as a, quote, idiot for clapping during the tribute. Dan Grillo was fired by his company for that, and appropriately so. Taya Kyle, the widow of American sniper Chris Kyle, has some words for all of them.
Ryan didn't sign up to serve only Republicans or Democrats. He didn't give his life so that he'd be applauded. He went into this silent professional mode, and he did what he does, and he died knowing more about the threats against us than most people ever will. For that alone, he deserves respect. I don't care in what environment or from who, he deserves our respect. She went to say that her husband, who did this silently for years, served valiantly, was successful in helping this country, deserved some recognition. And if the president wants to give it, she's going to show up so that her husband can be recognized. And I applaud her. She's anything but a fool.
Wow, KG, that is a strong woman.
I love it. She's strong, and I'm sure that she is a source of, strength for Corinne as well, going through this difficult time. Have these people no shame? Are they just really so despicable and disgusting that they don't even have a moment to just not be political and let a woman grieve, let a country grieve and honor a man who, not just in this mission, but many others that he was involved in, served this country admirably and honorably? There was nothing that I thought wasn't genuine about that. You saw the emotion on her face when she was looking up to heaven saying, "Love you, baby," to her husband. We all learn and grow from moments like that of vulnerability and of service and of sacrifice to this country. And good for President Trump for honoring him, and good for him saying that it was a successful mission, because the intelligence reports are consistent. We're getting that information in, that a lot was able to be gleaned from that raid in particular, and we owe it to the people who served on it and her husband as well. So this, shameful behavior from the people who tried to cheapen this moment.
Greg, I sort of felt in that moment when it was happening and everyone was clapping, it was emotional. I thought it was not only for the Navy SEAL that had died, but for all of the military and a gratitude for the military. It just seems like Michael Moore is, and those guys, over the top.
They always end up on the wrong side of these issues, and it's because, I mean, number one, simple rule to live by: don't attack a military widow.
Right.
Even if you feel that because she was invited by somebody you think is evil or somebody you really, really hate, maybe just swallow that and just go, you know what? I will take the high road. We have this dance of selective outrage. We both play this game where we invite guests, they invite guests, and we're guilty of it. However, this is an example of unchecked emotional hate. Like, when you hate somebody so much, you hate Donald Trump so much that your hysteria allows you to actually attack a military widow. Mm-hmm. You can marginalize a grieving widow because you believe the person who invited her is evil. That's how it happens in their
distorted thinking.
Their distorted, addled mind. And then that's why the guy who lost his job is probably thinking, like, what was I thinking?
That's what I was thinking too. Like, Eric, why can't you? People feel like they have to comment on everything.
Yes, exactly.
Be quiet.
You know why Michael Moore is doing it? Maybe some of the people who are on The View, because they want to do exactly what we're doing right now. They want to get on TV. They want to be so outrageous that you have to talk about them. Greg is right. You don't attack a military widow, especially who lost her husband 30 days prior. Now, Trump said this line, again, his name will be etched in stone for eternity. And it is. And thank God for that. And no thanks to, isn't it time for Michael Moore to go away? Haven't we had enough of Michael Moore?
He's got a new lease on life.
He predicted that Trump would win.
A last question to, or a last comment to Juan.
Well, you know, wait a second. I remember this table, as I said yesterday. You guys went after President Obama.
That's what I just prefaced.
But I didn't hear you say. But when you went after President Obama for having an injured member of the military in the gallery, you said he was using this guy.
I didn't.
It's a dance that we all play.
Okay,
What's that got to do with it?
Wait a minute. So now the left goes after Trump for this because, first of all, I don't think, to the extent that this was an attack on the widow, I don't think that they said, oh, she was silly for letting herself used as a prop.
That's exactly
But generally, it was an attack on Trump. And this is, by the way, you know who joins in this attack? Guess who? Ryan's dad, Bill Owens.
Sorry, Owens' wife. You were not helping yourself.
No, you just got Trump used you. That's the point. Trump used. But here's my point to you, Eric, that Bill Owens, who was the soldier's father, he said he had reservations about the mission, refused to meet with Trump, and on top of that said he didn't like the fact that Trump went after another Gold Star family during the campaign.
That's his opinion.
Okay, so therefore...
But don't go after the widow.
It was actually Bill Maher, Eric, that said, I wish she hadn't allowed herself to be used as a prop like that. But
that's what the point was.
If you've been invited by the President of the United States to sit in the box of the State of the Union for your husband to be honored by the nation, by the world,
I think it's pretty sweet. And
it's a wonderful way to honor her husband. Honestly, like people need to get a grip. It's disturbing. See, get a counselor.
Right, we're going to get a grip on this tease. President Trump paid tribute to the military again today with a visit to a warship to promote his plans for a major buildup of our armed forces. See that next.
This is all.
On Tuesday, at his address, President Trump called for an increase in military spending, and today he met with sailors and shipbuilders on the Gerald R. Ford to promote his plans for a major military buildup.
We will give our military the tools you need to prevent war and, if required, to fight war and only do one thing. You know what that is? Win. Win. I have no greater privilege than to serve as your commander-in-chief and the commander-in-chief of the men and women of the United States military. I salute you, and I salute our sailors. I will always support you and your mission. I will never, ever let you down.
All right, KG.
I love this, yeah.
Mga. Making the military great again.
Yes, that's exactly what I think and feel when I see that. I love this. I thought that was beautiful. I love that he was out there, he was with them saying, hey, I'm here, I'm the commander-in-chief. I am going to give you the tools that you need to be safe for yourselves, to return to your families, and to keep this nation safe. He promised that during the campaign. This is President Trump honoring his promise and his commitment to this country and to our national security. I think this was fantastic. I think he's really at his best here when he's with the men and women that serve this country. So God bless him for that.
Dana, rocking that jacket, too.
I love the jacket. And there are the trappings of office, as they're called, and he is figuring out how to use them. Getting out on the road, I think, it suits him well. He's going to have to do a lot of this if he wants to get this done, because asking for a $54 billion increase in the middle of the Obamacare repeal and replacement, all the other things he wants to do on his budget are going to be, it's going to be difficult. And General Mattis, he'll have a good hearing when he goes up to Capitol Hill, because he's like, yeah, I'm good. We're going to get $54 billion increase, and this is what I would do with it. The other cabinet officers are going to have to go up, and they are obligated to defend the budget that they put up. So if you're Secretary Tillerson at the State Department, and you're going to go in and explain why it is a good thing you're getting a 37% cut at the State Department, I even think that General Mattis might say, oh, I don't think he needs that big a cut. But anyway, a good event, he's going to have to do a lot more of them. He has to treat it as a campaign in order to get it done.
Greg, you always notice the people behind the stage when these speeches are given. This is a little better than the Democrat response the other night.
Yeah, definitely.
Look at those guys.
Yeah,
there you go.
And they're all great people. The valuable message here is not for America, though, but for our enemies. Basically, what we're saying is this is where the president is recommitting his efforts. We are no longer navel-gazing. We are Navy-gazing.
Isn't it great?
Yeah, and you know, you want to have if you're a liberal or a Democrat, you want to have that social safety net. You need a national security net first, and that's what you do. And Republicans are, I'm a hypocrite. I don't like spending unless it's for this. I'm a big spender when it comes to the military because I know that the military is one area of government that actually works.
Yep. And it
Juan,
should
your
include a
thoughts?
raise.
By the way, some senators on the right think $54 billion is not enough.
Well, it's too much. That's the problem. I mean, President Obama, way back, he went to Newport News, and you know what he said? We've got a problem. We've got to increase your budget because the sequestration is punishing you, and therefore we want to increase it. President Trump wants to increase it by a minuscule amount more than what President Obama wanted. But the kind of rhetoric, the kind of attitude that you guys represent suggests, oh, this is a whole different direction for the military and the president. And the idea is that if you give so much money to the military, even the little bump over what Obama had promised, you are going to have what Greg talked about. You're going to punish the State Department. You're going to punish all the other agencies in government that work to preserve the peace.
I don't remember saying that.
A little bump happens to me.
They mistake us a lot.
And 3% of a $600 billion budget is $18 billion. So a little bump is a lot of money to the military.
And can I say something to you? The left is always whining and bemoaning Russia and all the scary goblins out there, but yet you want to undercut the military and national security and not, yes, because President Obama cut the defense spending for 8 years. So now we have to recoup it, and we need to have a technological advantage and be military ready and strong so that there aren't problems in the future and we can continue forward and not have to play catch up.
That's one quick point. I know we have to go, but one quick point. We spend 7 or 8 times as much money as China on the military. We spend even more than that on Russia. So there's no question about our military superiority.
Well, I think it is.
Leave it right
how
there.
many times we're getting hacked.
I'm going to leave it right there. Ahead, President Trump's election victory may have Oprah considering her own White House bid.